Right, folk, welcome back to another video beer review. Today we've got a beer coming out of Deschutes Brewery, and it is a freshly squeezed IPA. Now, I've just checked the check-ins on tap for this. It's 386,000, which for me is a little bit mental. I don't know what Guinness is like on there, but I reckon Guinness is probably more. But 300, that's crazy numbers for a check-in. So obviously it is mass produced for within the kind of craft side of things. The Shoots Brewery, I've obviously heard of them, but I haven't had anything from them because they don't export, seemingly, to the UK at least. But yeah, I've probably had one or two beers from them in the past, but we're going back a bit of time. And also, I must admit, I'm never good at remembering American breweries or American breweries and where they're from, aside from some hype stuff. Like Other Half and Treehouse and Trillium. To be honest, I couldn't even really tell you where exactly those breweries are. I know Other Half is obviously like New York, but then they've got other breweries elsewhere. But Deschutes, I wouldn't have a clue. My American geography is not as brilliant as my kind of rest of the world geography. In terms of, I couldn't 100% tell you where all the states are. I could probably say kind of west to east, but couldn't pinpoint them or anything like that. And Oregon, is that like in the west? Because there's Portland, Oregon, which I think is in the west, isn't it? Isn't it Portland? Like, I don't know. Anyway, so this is, I'm presuming, a very much a classic beer. So got this from Trembling Madness. I don't think it was overly expensive. I did go a little bit crazy on buying American beers, as you'll see a lot of American beers on the channel over the next couple of weeks. I apologise for the lack of uploads. It's mainly because I don't have anything interesting in the house until now. And I'm reviewing this with my parents because I'm up here for Easter. But yeah, I think I've touched on it in a couple of reviews in the past. Is that I'm not necessarily having as much at home, as much interesting stuff at home, because one, my fridges have been full of shite. I'm trying to get through all the stuff that's in the house that I'm not, wouldn't normally drink and have been putting off and that sort of thing. Just have that and have that. Get out, get it done, get that drink done, and then I've got room for nice fun beers to have, and plenty of room for nice fun beers. And also there's an element of, it's fucking expensive nowadays. I think everyone's seeing that. And I kind of prefer going down the pub a bit more. And I'll admit, down the pub, I'm not necessarily drinking craft stuff because it's not available in the locals. In my actual local, it's Directors on all the time, and then you'll get obviously decent cake. Well, I say decent cake. It's mainstream cake. So you get Murphy's, you get a Alpaca Lips, you'll get a Stella Unfiltered, that sort of thing. Anyway, let's see what this relatively mainstream American beer is like. I think it was like £4, something like that for a can. It wasn't too crazy. 6.4% ABV, 355ml, 12 fluid ounces. Can says fresh squeezed IPA is perfectly crushable and balanced with bright citrus and tropical fruit notes. Born in Oregon, employee and family owned since 1988. Canned on. So package that's pretty fucking fresh for something that's coming to the UK. So 010526, which is obviously 5th of January 26, and it's now the 2nd of April 26. So yeah, it's relatively for UK standards. America, you've done a lot for the world this year, fucking causing chaos. That's all I can say. What's happened this year? So tropical 2 out of 5, citrus 4 out of 5, crisp is 4 out of 5, IPA fresh is within 4 months, so we're fine. Yeah, squeezing that hop. I like it. I like the artwork. Classic. I apologise for the glassware. It's whenever I'm here, we typically drink Guinness. And there's little other glassware that is to hand. So it's a Guinness glass, and that's all it'll be. Slight haze on it, but I think it's more chill haze than anything. I think nowadays haze is, compared to when I first started reviewing and compared to like when I first started drinking beers, like 14, 15 years ago, and everything had to be crystal clear. And if it wasn't crystal clear, there was definitely something wrong with it, even within the craft side of things. And nowadays, there's a bit of a bit more free roam on it, isn't there? I don't know. Maybe this was always a slight haze on it. Lovely colour to it, though. You know, kind of like an orange, amber orange colour. Everything looks weird in the Guinness glass when it's not Guinness. So nose, I'd say it's a little bit kind of like tangerine, passion fruit. Definitely kind of tangerine, mandarin sort of note. Slightly musty orange. Relatively decent amount of citrus, but at the same time, it's a little bit. I am coming off the back of a double IPA, which was not good in water profile. There was an element of a wishy-washiness, but I'm not sure if it's 100% there. There's a bit of like a honeydew melon, cantaloupe sort of note. We'll dive in. Cheers. I haven't had that crispness for such a long time. It's a proper decent West Coast, but it's a West Coast like they used to be. Like West Coast. Everyone thinks the West Coast like they were never mega fruity. They were always fruity. They weren't quite as crazy fruity as like what New England IPAs are, but it was always just general kind of citrus fruits and quite dry and bitter. This is really, really clean, really clean. Lovely citrus, orangey kind of mandarin, honeydew melon notes I was picking up before. Slight little touch of kind of black tea. I wonder what bittering hops or what hops they use in this at all. Is it like something like Columbus? It's probably going to be very, something very classic, like Chinook, Cascade, Columbus, or something like that. And I'll be very happy with that. That is bloody nice. If you're able to have also the ABV of it, you'll get nothing like this in the UK nowadays. Everything's pissy fucking ABV. And another thing of me, not reviewing as much, is that anything this ABV will cost you a fucking arm and leg, 6.4%. It will be typically served in the 440ml can, not a 330, and it will be, like £6 a can. Whereas you can get this, chuck it on the top, you get this, and it can taste as fresh and as clean as that does after a bit of time in the can as well. After 3 months in a can. On the high seas, across the high seas, and it tastes like that. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So clean, crisp, nice and fruity. Yeah, that's good. That is really good. I'm glad I got it. Glad I tried it. Deschutes, fresh squeezed IPA. That's a proper beer. That's real good. See you next one. You take care.